I mean, like, it is literally just so nice out today. I love it. And it's Saturday. How are you guys? We're gonna pull some cards today. Let's see what we got. The street cleaner is coming, so it might get a little loud. Never mind, he's going the other way. How are you? How are you? Good morning. If you are pulling any cards for yourself today, just let me know in the comments. Send me a follow, like the video. And we're gonna see what we get for a pull today. I got 5 again. Kind of shows me maybe that there could be some sort of a challenge that you're going through. Let's see what we got. Man. Birds are chirping. Sun is shining. The grass is green again. Oh, this is the best part of the year. Best part of the year. Oh. Oh. What do we got? Here's what we got. Okay. So, judgment is interesting. So, I have heard a couple different I don't want to say definitions, but a couple different interpretations of this card. One is that the divine is pulling you towards something, right? It's raising you. If you look at the card, it is pulling you up out of your coffin and raising you up. And if you look in the background, there are a whole bunch of mountains, but they are huge and icy, right? So these are mountains and problems and issues that have been stagnant and there and not touched for a long time, right? So this is basically telling you that you need to get out of this funk, right? You need to get up out of bed and see what the divine is asking of you, right? This is important. What is it that I can do to remedy this situation, right? Because this is no longer oh, it's just me, and it's just my problems and it's not affecting anybody else. The divine is telling you now is the time to act, right? It's either that or you are being judged by others for all of the deeds that you did, and it's becoming apparent now rather than it just being under the radar. But for me, what I'm feeling is that you're being pulled from the divine to go and do something important, whether it is something that you haven't been dealing with the mountains in the back, or it is something that you've been wanting to do that you haven't done because you feel like there actually is no way that it can't be done. But the divine is telling you there is a way. There is a way. And you might even hear the answer in the call that you're getting, right? And the reason why I say that is because you got also the magician, right? This is number one of the card. Okay? So this is the thought before the rumination, right? So this is what was being thought of before the Big Bang, right? This is when you were doing a thought experiment in 5th grade and you said in 30 years you would want to be a firefighter, right? There is no way in the near future that that can happen. But in the furthest future, it is possible. Why wouldn't it be? So if you look at the card, he's got all of the elements of the world on his table, and he also has lilies and roses, right? So, and that's a symbol of life and death, which is also a necessary part of the cycle of life. So you got, which technically could considerably be the spirit instead of it just being earth, air, fire, and water. That's the spirit. That's the part of us that dies with us and then is reborn again, right? So this is basically saying you have the calling to do something very important, right? And you have all of the necessary things that you need to accomplish this. It may not look like it. You probably don't feel that way, which is why you were in that sleep. You were in that funk. All of these mountains are completely solidified, and you feel like there is something that is in your way, something that you can't get past, right? But that's not true. You have everything you need and more to get this done. You just need to figure out how. Without any constraints, right? Don't think about constraints in your mind. What are the steps that you need to do to start the process? And look at every single step and really think about, is this possible? Start with step one. Don't think about the other steps until you've done step one, right? Don't think about anything else, because then you're going to overwhelm yourself. And once you're done with that first step, or at least you have an idea of what that step could be and how conceivably you could get that done, picture the mountains, right? The mountains are covered in ice. Once you start on step one, the ice comes down a little bit. It doesn't fully go away, but it comes down a little bit. And then you go to step two, conceptualize that. And then the ice comes down a little bit more, right? And as you're going through these steps, you need to be visualizing that ice on top of the mountain being that big problem. And every step, the ice goes away. Every step, right? And then once you're done with all the steps, you have completed the thought process in your mind. This is how I am able to do this, is when you have this. I have all of the necessary things I need to start the venture. This is just the thought. This is the thought process, right? But you have all of the options that you need, right? And his hands are up and down, as above, so below. So it's basically saying, like, you know, whatever I am, so the world is. I am part of it, and it is part of me. The divine is part of me, and I am part of it, right? Everything has an in, everything has an out, everything has an up, everything has a down. Everything in the world is balanced, which includes issues that you're having. No matter how hard it is to see past that veil, Everything has an out. Everything, right? You are not stuck. You have callings, and that is what you need to do. That is very, very important. And again, to reiterate, the roses and the lilies, all of those are important for life and death, right? It's the skin of the snake. You need to get rid of something in order to make room for something else to come into your life. That's just part of it. So maybe part of this scenario as well is you're being called to do something very important that has been stagnant and dormant for a long time. But in order to start that process, you need to get rid of something in order to bring that other thing into your life. So be fluid about this. Allow yourself to step into that space of, I will need to get rid of this one thing in order to make this other thing. And the thing that you're getting rid of is always going to be something that doesn't serve you anymore, even though it feels like it does. In the short term. In the long term, usually you will notice that this probably isn't something that you need to be doing, right? It isn't something that really needs to be there. So, I love puppies. Yeah, so be aware of your world and your decisions and stuff like that, and understand that, that mountain will melt. At one point, that mountain will melt. If you guys have any questions about any of the cards that I got today, or if you're interested in booking a reading, you can do that on Instagram and Facebook using the Book Now button, or you can book on the website at casterscabinet.com. And yeah, it's a beautiful day. Go out, enjoy the sun, enjoy the birds chirping and all the dogs walking around, and go to the beach or something, Get out of the house and wiggle around a little bit. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.